Rick Spielman, the former NFL GM, did a great job in the National Football League as an executive for so many years. Now works at CBS, SiriusXM NFL, among other places. Joins us on Grant and Danny to discuss the 2024 NFL season ahead. And first of all, Rick, so far so good. You were involved in helping to hire Adam Peters and Dan Quinn, part of the search firm with Josh Harris. And I got to say, all systems go here as we get ready for week one. The early returns are excellent. So congratulations and job well done.
And thank you.
Yeah, I'm more worried about, did the Lunchable fill you up, or did you need two? Because
I would need.
It sounded intriguing. I just didn't know if one Lunchable can fill you up.
The answer is no to that. I would need about 11 of them. So the one container of Lunchable comes with what I believe was like maybe 10 crackers. But I made little cracker sandwiches. So I did one piece of cheese, one piece of ham, and then the two crackers.
So now his cracker to ham and cheese ratio is all off for the last part of it, Rick.
It was askew. So I had 3 little mini cracker sandwiches, and no, I'm not close to filled up.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was concerned about it going forward, and if you had enough energy to get through the rest of the show today.
I don't. At about 4:45 or so, right before we talk to Booger McFarland, I'll need a nap.
Well, yeah, no, thanks for having me on. And no, I'm excited what DQ and Adam have done so far, just starting back in the off season, what they were able to accomplish in the draft, and just, changing that culture up there. And DQ is a culture changer. Impressed with the vets that they brought in, as far as those guys being leaders and establishing, that locker room on what DQ wants down there. And I thought Adam and his crew did a great job in the draft. Looks like they got their franchise quarterback. So still got some work to do. Doesn't happen overnight, but they, for their first year working together, I thought right now it looks like great returns, but we could be saying something different. Who knows, a week from now, because it's like everybody, if you lose, then okay, the whole thing is just horrible.
Yeah, everything is a disaster, right?
Yeah. But have patience. These guys are going to do a great job.
Rick, in your long experience atop the NFL, if there was one way to do this, there was an exact formula, everyone that didn't follow it would be ridiculed, rightfully so. But nobody's got the silver bullet or the perfect way to develop a young quarterback. What is your view? What? Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that they're doing a great job. I had an opportunity to go down and watch Jayden in the combined practices in Miami when they were down there. Then they actually moved the 2-minute drill because it was so hot outside into the indoor. But I was thoroughly impressed with Cliff Kingsbury has done and just understanding how to bring a young quarterback along. And everybody has different ways of doing it. When I got an opportunity to talk to Bobby Slowick this offseason and how they handled C.J. Stroud was totally different than how Carolina handled Bryce Young. C.J. Stroud, they kind of spoon-fed him, and then the more he got comfortable, the more they kept layering on the offense, which paid dividends for the Houston Texans, and they had a great year. He ended up becoming Offensive Rookie of the Year, where it looked like when you watch Bryce Young, understanding they didn't have the same talent level, but it looked like he was drinking out of a fire hose the whole season, just by looking like they just put too much on his plate. But just what I had the observation to watch during the preseason and what I saw watching the practices down there, I think that everybody should be very excited about Jayden Daniels.
Well, and that's kind of what I wanted to ask you about, Rick. In your time and your full, over the years of being an executive, what was your best practice in terms of saying, okay, we got a young quarterback here where he's here because we weren't great in previous years, right? This is a 4-13 team that he's taken over. There's been a lot of personnel changes. What's the best way to ensure his success? What was your governing philosophy over the years as an exec?
I would just throw the ball to the coach. We have him now. So it's up to you to figure out, because I'm not sitting in the meetings with him every day.
Right.
So where that kid is, how he's handling, the protections, how he's handling the meetings. And Jayden's a very mature young quarterback and has a lot of playing experience. And that showed up in the preseason. In fact, just to be honest with you, when I watched all these rookie quarterbacks, the first 6, and I understand J.J. McCarthy only played in the first one before he got hurt. Michael Penix had a really nice opener against Tampa and then they sat him the rest. But I was thoroughly impressed with these guys coming in and how they were. And I know it's, cover one, man coverage, or some kind of cover two, cover three on the back end, couple blitzes here and there, but it's going to be different when you actually game plan and the varsities out there. But I thought you can see their experiences that they've had through college. And when you look at Jayden Daniels and his adversities that he's overcome, just like Jalen Hurts overcame adversity from getting sat at Alabama to going to Oklahoma to going on and being the quarterback he is. Jayden came from Arizona State, and no one, everybody thought he was a third-day pick going into last season, and then he ends up being the number two overall pick, well-deserved because of what he was able to accomplish. So I'm sure they got a game plan in place, but coaches get paid a lot of money, too, to figure out what they have to do to make sure this quarterback's successful.
Rick Spielman, former GM in the NFL, on Grant and Danny. I want to go back to you mentioning the free agency that Washington had and how busy they were. Going as veteran heavy as they did and as 1-year deal heavy as they were able to, you would think works against a rebuild in some way. I think they have the the most players in the league with 4 or more years experience or something like that they added this year. What do you make of that? Like, what do you think they're trying to accomplish getting as older as they did this offseason?
One, that most of the guys that they brought in had some familiarity with Adam or with DQ or with some of the coaches. Two, every one of those guys are not only still good football players, but high character, high quality people. And I think when you're starting from scratch, both Adam and DQ are, that you want to bring in guys that are going to do everything the right way to set the tone for the younger guys. And I think, they're going to win more games than people think they're going to be. It depends. The offensive line holds up. They traded Dotson to Philly, which was kind of an interesting move, but they were able to pick up Noah Brown. So, but a lot of the guys that they brought in, they had some kind of relationship with, or some kind that knew when they brought them in that it was going to establish the culture that they want going forward. And they did a great job not overpaying. I mean, they gave a lot of short-term deals to these guys, and who knows where it goes. If they play well, maybe they get extensions. But for the first year, it's just getting everything going in the right direction in the way that both of those, Adam and DQ, see how they want this franchise to go forward. But they did it with not like a total rebuild. Like you said, they brought in some quality vets that I think are going to help them win some games, and I believe they're going to surprise some people this year.
Longtime NFL exec Rick Spielman with us here on G&D. You mentioned that Dotson trade, Rick. From outside looking in, what did you make of that?
Well, sometimes when you make a move like that, sometimes it's just not the right fit. Doesn't mean he was not a good player, or it's just something that, hey, this isn't going to work out. And I don't know behind the scenes what was going on or why it was, but if they felt that it wasn't the right thing for them to go forward with, then great, get what you can for him. And I think Adam did a great job with that. But I know Luke McCaffrey, I know he's going to surprise some people as a rookie, and then bringing in the Noah Browns of the world and guys like that. And Zakikis also had a really good preseason. So they felt that they had the ability to move on from Dotson, especially if he wasn't buying in. And I don't know that for a fact or not, but they felt that that was the best move for them to go forward.
Rick Spielman on Grant and Danny here on The Fan. Let's extrapolate the conversation out to the rest of the NFL. We'll start in the division, though.
So if I'm going to do these, we're going to stay to 2, maybe 3-word syllables. But you're that's that Lunchable. It's kicking in right now. I can feel it.
You got juice.
You got me right after the Lunchable. So you're getting the best of me right now. An hour from now, you would have missed out. The NFC East. Cowboys, Eagles seem like the two teams everyone's kind of trying to figure out who's going to wear the pants. Who do you like better of those two?
I thought, the Eagles, and Howie is always aggressive, going out and trying to improve that roster. They have 2 new offensive defensive coordinator in Kellen Moore and and bringing in Vic Fangio on the defensive side of the ball. They were aggressive, and Howie's always aggressive, trying to address all the needs on his team, whether it's free agency, but they're in that Super Bowl window right now. And then Dallas, that's kind of been a mystery to everybody when the owner says all in, but they didn't really make any significant moves. They had a pretty solid draft. I like the Guyton, the tackle. I think he's going to have a bright future ahead of him, but he's going to have some growing pains. So they were able to get CD Lamb done, which I thought was critical. But how they're handling the quarterback, I don't know. But I lean towards Philly right now, just based off everything through the preseason.